Welcome to the Towering Tropical Shirts NFL football update, where I get to talk about all things NFL. As always, brought to you by Mango Rum, so good and good for you. We're about to get right into week 2, but we had a game Thursday night, and if you saw it, you know that Dolphins quarterback, whose last name I'm never ever going to try to say, so we'll just call him by his first name, which is Tua, suffered still another concussion. It's his third one in 2 seasons. I know he's going to miss several weeks, maybe the rest of his career. However, I cannot offer any advice because I never played professional football or any type of tackle football for that matter. But I hope he does one thing in addition to listening to all the doctors and his family. I would like to think that maybe he should reach out to talk to Steve Young and Troy Aikman, 2 Hall of Fame NFL quarterbacks who retired because of concussions. So I'm just going to put that out there. Anyway, oh my God, what is that stink? Oh, I know what it is. It's professional football coming out of New York. Oh my stars. As you saw on Monday night, the Jets, well, they still have like tread marks from where the 49ers ran all over them on Monday night. And the Giants were so bad, they weren't even the stinkiest thing coming out of Jersey. So let's hope, at least as a fan, as a New York fan, they can both right the ship. So let's get on to the games, and we'll get right into the Jets, who look to right the ship against the Tennessee Titans. You know, I'm not even going to entertain the Jets losing this game because the Titans, while they lost last week, they were terrible offensively. Their defense is good, but they're terrible offensively. The heat is on in New York. Robert Saleh is on the hottest seat on the planet. I got the Jets just coming out. I don't think it's going to be a runaway right away, but hopefully by the second half, the Jets will have put some distance between them and the Titans. So yes, I got the Jets to win that one. Here's another intriguing matchup in week 2. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions. Now, these 2 teams met last year in the wild card round. Of course, you know the Lions won that one. But here's a fun fact. This is the 2nd consecutive week that Jared Goff, quarterback for the Detroit Lions, is going up against a #1 overall pick at quarterback. Him also being a #1 overall pick. Even more interesting, another interesting fact about that is that all of these quarterbacks, these 3 QBs, are no longer on the team that drafted them #1. Do you know who these, know what year they were drafted? You know who these quarterbacks are? Well, let's see when we get to the end of the show. Anyway, how do I see this game going? Lions are on a tear. I mean, the Buccaneers are good. They are actually a lot better than people think, but I think the Lions are just a step above in class, offensively, defensively, and also I think because they're hungrier. They're hungry Lions. Rawr. So I got, yes, peg leg Meg, I got the Lions winning that one. Is there such a thing as a must win in week 2? Not normally. However, for these 2 teams, they might be feeling a little desperate. We're talking about the Cleveland Browns going into Jacksonville to take on the Jags. If you watched both teams last week, you know they kind of both laid an egg, especially from the quarterback's perspective. Deshaun Watson, who's looking like a $260 million mistake in Cleveland, and Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, who just still seems to be off for some reason. Anyway, both teams are 0-1. They're both expected to really contend in their division. So it's a must-win if you want to call it a must-win. How do I see this game going? Even with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, I think the Browns are still the better team from top to bottom, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Trevor Lawrence still seems to be struggling in some areas, so we'll see how it goes, but I like the Browns to win that one. Another intriguing matchup, the Chicago Bears are taking on the Houston Texans. The main thing that makes this intriguing is Caleb Williams, the #1 pick for the Bears, who threw for 93 yards last week. I mean, not in a quarter, not in a half, but the entire game. Everyone's talking about how great he looked in preseason. You know what? Regular season NFL, hey, you know, those 300-pound linemen, he's like, Coach, you didn't say these guys could be fast like this? So he had a terrible game, although they still won because of their defense. Houston, many are picking them to go to the AFC Championship game. Their offense is explosive. Their defense has improved. How do I see this game going? I got news for you, Caleb Williams. It don't get any easier in the NFL. No, it doesn't. Houston's a much better team, I think, on both sides of the ball. I got the Texans to win that one. And finally, the game of the week is the Cincinnati Bengals going into Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. We all saw how bad the Bengals looked last week, and the Chiefs played on Thursday night, put on a great show in beating the Ravens. What makes this an intriguing matchup is that Joe Burrow is the only quarterback, I think, who has a winning record against Pat Mahomes. He's 3-1, which is pretty phenomenal. So they're going in Kansas City, they ain't afraid of that. However, Jamar Chase, a wideout for the Bengals, has been running his mouth. He's saying, well, you know, we're the team to beat in the AFC. I got news for you, Jamar. Check your fingers. Let's see, how many Super Bowl rings you got? You got just as many as I do. 0. Pat Mahomes has 3. How do I see this game going? This is going to be a knockdown drag-out. The Bengals will play better than they did last week. But the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. And you better believe that Pat Mahomes is like, you know, I'm fucking tired of losing to Joe Burrow. I like the Chiefs to start the season 2-0 and to beat the Bengals. The Bengals, sorry. Last week's record, not too good. First week jitters, I went 2-3. Let's hope I do better this week. Answer to the trivia question is, last week, Jared Goff went up against Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was the #1 pick for the Lions back in 2009. Jared Goff was the #1 pick for the Rams back in 2016. And then this week, Goff goes up against Mayfield, who was the #1 pick of the Cleveland Browns back in 2018. So there you have it. Those are the games. If you like what you see, let me know. Tag me up on Facebook. Subscribe to my page on, what is this, on the YouTubeage. Or you could just, you know, talk some shit when you see me at wherever I am. Feel free. So enjoy the games, everybody. If you're on St. Croix and you're not going to watch the games, make sure you get the Sylvies and hang out there because Pablo will be cooking up a spread. See everybody next week.